Okay, Eric, you can see I'm up on your roof. You are right down below. I just want to show you the condition of everything since I'm up here. So you have a little bit of bird, doo-doo, but as far as the condition of the shingle, and also just to show you, the ridge vent, everything is still perfectly in line here. I told you I would show you these underhangs that we can't really see. Right, and I'll ask Eden about that downspout there, whether or not we can add an extension. But everything here looks beautiful. You can see your valleys. Keep in mind that all that sitting snow that would back up, you have your lower plane run under the higher plane, and then this higher plane overlapping it. You can see we struck the higher plane, so water would have to work its way back 2 feet, and then behind that, you can see in these gutters that we installed, I'm going to assume Eden left these with no extension, not wanting to damage the shingle, having to work an elbow under there, keeping in mind that, as always is the case, we put the gutters on after the roof. But you can see gutters performing perfectly. You don't have any areas, at least on the front side, where it's clogged up. All right, so let's go up to this half ridge on the right side. And same thing, the birds like to sit up here, right? You can see your nails have been capped with silicone, right? So no places for any sitting water or backing water to drip. Same thing here, if you remember. We had built out the little cricket so that the water wasn't coming right off of this, dispersing on this plane and hitting the face of that chimney. I can actually walk down to the chimney just to give you a better look at these gutters as well. You see those straight down to the downspout performing. Same here. That's all we would really look for, Eric. Obviously, with brand new gutters, the only reason that they would be not performing would be if you had a bunch of debris clogging the downspouts. But remember, we switched the downspouts from the 2-inch by 3-inch to the 3-inch by 4-inch, so that should never be a problem. But if you look, right, if you were in the room where you're hearing the rodent, this is representative of the wall, this where the gutter runs, the eave. And then you can see this front right corner is where the window is. So essentially, where it can be heard is right in this area. And you could see, you're down there on the underside looking under, so I can't give the perspective we just saw from the yard, but we know that everything is intact under here. And here's the space, on top. And here's that ventilation that's directly over it, right? You can see that that's still tight to the ground. No sign of anything, mechanically or animals or otherwise prying it up. Same thing in the valley. You can see the lower plane run under the higher plane overlapped and then hit with a strike line. Same thing on this side, So I say, when I said confidently, what I would find up here, only because of the amount of leaks that we've had from backed up water, and obviously the assumption being that water was coming in, from the roof. So different circumstance, and I knew with an animal, there's always a chance, that an animal could have worked its way into something that it shouldn't have been in. But you can see the only punctures that remain on this roof are this pipe. You see it's got the rain cap. You got this pipe, which we leave exposed. We don't cover it because it's a ventilation pipe. Until they get above 4 inches, we don't cap them for rain. So let's say a squirrel were to shoot down there. Okay, when you get into the underside on the attic, this pipe just simply goes straight through. It's the ventilation for the bathroom. It could be a kitchen as well. A lot of times there are two. Like, see, your neighbor right next to you has two. He either has a 1.5 bath or an extra bathroom that's being ventilated, or the kitchen. for whatever reason, you have that larger chimney stack, so you only need the one ventilation pipe. He has a larger chimney too. I don't know what the variation in the systems are, but you only have this one pipe, and we won't cover this. So just to make sure, because it doesn't mean the animal's coming in where you hear it, I just want to show you your main ridge. This is along the top, right? Because an animal could get in anywhere and work its way to where we hear it. But just look, I mean, when you have those details, right? A lot of times you'll come up on a roof like this, you'll see this shingle cracked because they had to make that transition. Look how nice, these seams are. Again, Eric, we try to go the extra mile on every job. I hate to say that. Make it sound like I have customers that I favor more than others. But obviously, when I'm dealing with a younger guy, you know what I mean, closer to my age, who's been friendly and hospitable and everything else, it's not that I don't check every box for everybody else, but we really go the extra mile on those job days. As you know, from Dwight to, the lowest guys on the totem pole to the highest. So, yeah, the roof looks like it's in great shape, as I would expect it to be by this stage of the game. Typically, we don't have any problems. And like I said, even the roofs that I've been called out to for rain or leaking that was getting in, we were able to easily determine that the leaking was from backed up water coming through siding or some other joint where a slope is running into a wall, and not from, any surface on the roof. And I come out here to do that, and did that for all of those folks, not with the intention of saying, hey, look, we were right, it's not something with the roof. You see that underside? You see that joint in the wall? It's always with the intention of not being right, but getting it right. We're not looking to say, oh, there's nothing there. We're looking to say if there is something that looks out of place, then we want to mend or repair or fix it and get it looking exactly as it should look. The unfortunate thing is when we do the roof inspection from top side, there would be nothing here to pay attention to. Everything is, in the same shape as when we left it. You can see the silicone still on the nail heads. That would be the first thing that would go. The second thing that would go would be the rubber around that pipe collar. That's not going to happen for another bunch of years. So the unfortunate thing, I wish I could show you exactly where an animal is getting in or out, but it's not going to be from the roof, Eric. It's definitely not from the underside or the soffit space. And from what I could see just walking the perimeter of the home, having seen it from top to bottom, the roof, in the attic, looking at the foundation, looking at the overhangs, the soffit space, I know where animals get in, and I don't see anything, reflective of space where an animal would get in. So I know that still leaves it a mystery for you, but I wouldn't rule out the case that whatever is in there got in there just walking through the garage or the front door, because I don't see anywhere around the house that it would.